Welcome to Cooking Johnson Style. I am doing what we like to do when there's a family get together for the morning for breakfast. It's a breakfast quiche. And I got a recipe back in probably the 80s from Fred Wicks. He called himself the Gabby Gourmet. It's pretty good and pretty simple. I start out with 6 eggs and whip them up. I have some green onions and a little parsley in there. Three to four green onions chopped up, and then fresh parsley, 2 to 3 tablespoons. And then I always like, if I'm doing anything with eggs, you got to put some Tabascos in it. I just put three drops if I'm cooking for others. Other than that, if it's me, I got 5 or 6 in there, and then some on the top after. What you do is you take 6 eggs, beat them. Like I said, I already added my 4 green onions and then 3 tablespoons of fresh parsley. I have 3 cups of potatoes. You can use 2 if you like more of an eggy. I kind of like potatoes. 3 cups of shredded, thawed out frozen potatoes. Mix that all together, and you can put salt and pepper to your liking, but since I have to cook without pepper, I do a little Tabasco and hope they don't notice. And then after that, you can just I'll do all my wet stuff. I'll add a third cup whole milk. You can use 2%, but not skim because it just doesn't come out right. I have a half a cup of cottage cheese. Get that mixed in. I have also a cup and a half of Swiss, or you can use gruyere if you want to be fancy. You can use smoked. Showed you the bottom of the bowl. Shame on me. Mix that up. I have a cup of chopped mushrooms. Well, a little more because I like mushrooms. So probably for me, a cup and a half. It calls for a cup of mushrooms. Mix all that in. And you put it in, well, it calls for a 10-inch round deep baking dish, or pie dish, but I don't have one. I usually double this and I have it in a 9x13, but I'm going to see if it all fits in my 8x8 nicely. You pour it in a buttered or sprayed dish. Get everything out. I spread it even. This is one you do over. It sits overnight, so make it just before you go to bed. And for the topping of this, not need enough. I'm using gluten-free panko because I do have celiac people in the house. But 3/4 cup of cornflakes mashed up, and I also do about 6 thick pieces of bacon, chopped up and cooked, well drained, for the topping. And with like I said, panko, or use a tablespoon of the grease, bacon grease, or if you don't like bacon grease, you can use some butter in there to get the to get the if I can, the cornflakes all mushy and kind of like a nice crust. Then you just spread over the top. I made a bunch because I got other things to use this for. And panko is a lot crispier. And you spread it over the top, and then you put the thick, chopped up thick bacon. Just spread it out. And then cover it, saran wrap, and throw it in the fridge overnight. But then before you cook it, you need to get up an hour before you want to start cooking it. Pull it out and let it sit. Just set it on the counter on the stove. And just let it sit for an hour. And then you cook. When you do cook it, you cook it at, I think it's 325 for about an hour. And it comes out nice. We'll show you that when we get to that point there. Now, after you've made the quiche, you put it in the fridge overnight, you've woken up, it's sat out on the counter for an hour. All you need to do is pop off the plastic wrap, throw it in a 325-degree oven. The recipe I had says 50-55 minutes, but mine sometimes takes an hour and 10, just on my stove at 325. So test it like you do a cake. See if you like runny eggs, 55 would probably be perfect. But I like it set up to be like the quiche. So just test it about 55 minutes to an hour. And if it's really gooey still, just cook it for 5 more minutes. And that, just throw it in and wait. Okay, we just pulled this out. I use a fork because, just to see if it's moist, because people I feed cry if their eggs are a little loose. I don't know why. So it comes out nice. That's hot, so don't touch it. And I pull out my best china, picture with me on it. And then there's the quiche. And you have to do this if one falls off. I'm going to do this at, anytime the family's together and we have a morning together. And I like to top mine off if I don't have a good salsa, like a habanero, ghost pepper. I pull out the old-fashioned stuff and just use Tabasco all over. Hope you try it. It's very tasty. I got this like in the 80s or something from Fred Wick's, the Gabby Gourmet, long time ago. So hope you try it, and hope you come back and watch some more. And I'm gonna sit here and I'm just gonna eat. I'll probably eat this whole thing, and I don't care about anybody else. Thank you.